Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled Comparisons Are Stupid. As we go through life, we're bound to encounter people, and maybe even ourselves, falling into the habit of making comparisons. It's like this constant urge to pit things or people against each other, whether it's subtle or outright. We see it everywhere. Sometimes it's lighthearted and harmless, like when someone says, "Oh, are you more of a cat person or a dog person?" But other times it's deeper, more personal, and harder to shake off. It's almost as if we've been conditioned to see the world as a giant scorecard where everything and everyone is being measured against something else. Just the other day, I was in a conversation and the whole cats versus dogs thing came up. People were passionately debating which one was better, going back and forth about why one is superior to the other. Honestly, I've never understood that. Cats and dogs are completely different animals. They have their own unique qualities, different sizes, temperaments, and needs. Trying to compare them feels like comparing a slice of pizza to an apple. Sure, they're both food, but they serve entirely different purposes. It's kind of absurd when you think about it. Why can't they both just be appreciated for what they are? Why does one have to be deemed better? And that's the thing. This urge to compare is everywhere. It feels like we live in a culture that thrives on competition, whether it's sports, careers, appearances, or even something as random as pet preferences. There's always this undercurrent of which is better. People love to pull out stats, analyze details, and come to a conclusion about what's supposedly the best. It's like we're conditioned to rank everything, even when it's unnecessary or downright irrelevant. Um, it's not enough for something to just exist and be enjoyed for what it is. We have to slap a label on it and assign it a place in the hierarchy of worth. And it's not just about pets or things, it happens with people too. Sometimes when I'm online, people will compare me to someone else, like some YouTuber, TikToker, or even a celebrity they think I resemble. And I hate that. I hate being compared to other people because at the end of the day, I'm me. I'm my own person. I have my own individuality, my own identity, and my own story. When someone says, "Oh, you remind me of so and so," it feels like they're reducing me to some template, as if I'm not unique enough to stand alone. And even if it's meant as a compliment, it still bothers me because it implies that my value is tied to how I measure up to someone else. It's like, it's a pet peeve of mine, I guess. Maybe other people don't mind it as much, but for me, it crosses a boundary. If I don't like being compared to someone, I feel like that should be respected. Think about it. How would you feel if someone constantly compared you to others? "Oh, this person is better than you at this," or "that person has something you don't." It would get exhausting after a while, wouldn't it? And what's worse is when they compare you to someone you don't even know or care about. Like, who is this person and why should they matter in the context of who I am? It's frustrating and honestly, it can feel invalidating. Um, I think what bothers me most is how comparisons, especially with people, can feel so dehumanizing. It strips away individuality and turns people into objects of measurement. And that's not fair. We're all different. What makes someone else who they are has nothing to do with me or my value as a person. It's not a competition. I'm not here to win or lose against someone else's traits, achievements, or life choices. Um, I'm just here to be myself. But society doesn't always see it that way. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to be better, to outperform, to fit into certain molds. And that pressure to measure up can be so draining. Now, don't get me wrong, there are situations where comparisons make sense. If you're buying a phone, comparing models and features is smart. Same goes for shopping, where you're comparing prices to get the best deal. That's practical. Um, but when it comes to people, animals, or anything that's inherently unique, comparisons feel unnecessary and even harmful. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't work. And yet we keep doing it over and over again, like it's some kind of reflex we can't control. I don't know why this bugs me so much, but it does. Maybe it's because I've seen how damaging comparisons can be, how they can make people feel less than or insecure. Or maybe it's just the principle of it. Either way, it's something that's always rubbed me the wrong way, and I know it's not going to stop anytime soon. People aren't going to wake up one day and decide to stop comparing everything. It's too ingrained in how we think and operate. You might be thinking, if it's never going to change, why even bother ranting about it? And you're right. This little rant isn't going to magically fix the world or stop people from comparing everything. But sometimes ranting is about more than solving a problem. It's about releasing frustration, about expressing something that's been weighing on your mind. And honestly, it feels good to let it out. Expressing yourself doesn't always have to lead to change. Sometimes it's just about finding a little peace for yourself in the process. It's funny how ranting can feel almost therapeutic, like you're purging all the annoyance and irritation out of your system. It doesn't fix the problem, sure, but it helps you process it. And that's important. Life throws a lot at us, and sometimes the only way to handle it is to speak your mind, even if the world doesn't change because of it. It's not about changing the world, it's about unburdening yourself. And honestly, that's enough for me. If expressing my feelings helps me find some clarity or calm, then it's worth it. Even if nothing changes, at least I've gotten it off my chest, and that's all that matters. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.